Hello and welcome to the final episode of the Dental Photography School podcast launch event. And I'm going to be speaking about how to use a gray card in this particular um, episode. I just need a heads up if you can hear me loud and clear. Once I get the heads up, I'm going to be starting off with my session. We also have an awesome guest joining us today. Uh, he's none other than Dr. Moez Khakiani. He'll be here soon. Till that time, I'll appreciate if the people who have joined us can just give me a heads up if my voice is loud and clear. Okay, so I see a lot of people have logged in. Cool. So Ananya is saying loud and clear. Thank you so much, Ananya, for the heads up. Thank you so much, Mega, and thank you so much, Subhash. So it's an absolute honor to have you on the final round of the Dental Photography School podcast launch. I'm so happy that so many of you are here. Welcome, Leena. So Dr. Leena Rawal is an awesome clinician from Chandigarh, Zirakpur. She is awesome in her composites as well as awesome endodontics, and I believe she also does a course by the name of From Roots to Restoration, which is an awesome course. So maybe you should check it out. Thank you so much, Lalit, for letting me know that I am loud and clear. Cool. So what I'm going to be speaking about today is about the gray card. A lot of people do not know about the gray card, and that's why I decided that I need to speak on it because a lot of awareness is needed because very few people or very few clinicians know about the use of gray card, and we need to demystify the doubts behind the use of gray card. So we need to use a gray card? Yes, we need to use a gray card. For what purpose? We are going to be seeing now. So a gray card is an absolute must for shade communication, especially in the anterior aesthetic cases that we do. Why this is needed is because if we take a particular picture, say a picture of a tooth, what is the guarantee that the colors that have been recorded in that particular picture by using our camera or the flash is accurate or not? All right, so a gray card helps us to remove any color cast. So what do you mean by a color cast? A color cast would be synonymous to an Instagram filter that you add when before posting stuff on your Instagram feed, right, or your Instagram story. So we do not want these color filters. We are not trying to show something nice and beautiful to the lab. We are basically trying to communicate the exact shade of the patient's adjacent tooth to the lab so that they can reproduce accurate colors for us. So today's talk is going to be largely on shade communication. So in our previous podcast launch, that's the 32-minute podcast launch, we also had Dr. Alessandro De Vigas, who spoke a lot about shade communication, and he conducted a session called What is A3? And he did emphasize a lot on the importance of value and why a classic shade guide should not be used. So we'll be referring to all those things. And today's session is, you can probably call it a build up of that session. And we go deeper into how we use a gray card. So I've been using gray cards since a very long time. And the mention of gray card by me was done quite early, especially there is a chapter on shade selection and communication in Dr. Moez Khakiani's book. Right, so we have Dr. Moez Khakiani with us. So there is a chapter called as shade communication and shade selection in his book Clinical Fix Prosthodontics, which also has the mention of the use of gray card. So the author of the chapter is Dr. Moez, myself, and Dr. Dr. Sharma, if I'm not
That's
wrong.
right.
So
That is correct.
it's already been mentioned since, yeah, yeah. So quite a long time back, we made it a point to put in everything that we want in this particular chapter. So it's not the first time that we are speaking about the gray card thing, but today I'm going to be showing a live demonstration. But before we go ahead live with that stuff, there's something much more interesting that's going to be happening. That's why we have Dr. Moez Khakiani with us. Thank you so much for joining, Moez. So nice to have you once again.
Mayur, my pleasure. What a
Cool.
lovely evening it is
So,
outside.
absolutely. So, the reason why Dr. Moez Khakiani is over here is because we had conducted something called as the Choice of Voice contest. I hope you all are aware of it. If you aren't aware of the Choice of Voice contest, let me explain that in a bit to you. All right, so the Choice of Voice contest is released every Wednesday, every week, and this week we had launched this particular contest. That's contest number 3. If you could not check it out, you can fill up the contest form given in the link. This is the contest. This is the contest.
The choice of voice.
I hope you can hear it.
Choice of voice contest. Test your
Oh,
ability
yes.
to recognize voices. A small snippet of our podcast will be played now. Try to relate the voice with the content of the snippet. Once you're sure of your answer, you can fill up the contest form given in the link. All you have to do is to guess the name of the speaker from the multiple choices given to you. If your choice is correct, your name could be selected for a lucky draw that would entitle you to receive a free gift from us. Unlike other contests, you're free to Google or ask your friends for help
Yeah.
before answering. A new Choice of Voice contest will be released every
Cheating is the new
Wednesday on
normal.
32-minute podcast.
Cheating is allowed.
Contest will be declared after we release a new episode every Sunday. So, close your eyes and listen to this voice.
Yo,
I have seen a lot of clinicians go ahead and shape the tooth, prepare the tooth, make the impression, and then sit in discussion with the patient. Okay, do you want metal? Do you want ceramic? Do you want zirconia? And it baffles me.
Sounds familiar, Mayur.
yeah, sounds familiar, but this time the Choice of Voice contest was pretty difficult in my opinion. Don't you think so?
Was it?
Maybe. I think a
We
pretty
always
famous
like
speaker
a
had come
challenge,
from.
don't we?
Right. It was awesome. So we saw a lot of people registering for the contest this time. So why we came up with this contest is because our people are very used to the visual media, and the future of education as well as entertainment is going to be audio, that's podcast, because a lot of people want to learn things on the go. So in order to encourage the crowd to shift from the visual media to the audio media, and try to encourage them to listen to podcasts more and more, what we do is we launch an episode every Sunday, but every Wednesday we launch a small trailer of the episode that's going to be launched on Sunday. So we keep that anonymous, and we combine it along with a contest and try to make it more exciting. So the people are free to ask their friends who is the speaker, and if they know, they can answer it on the Google Forms. So basically, it's my effort to convert our visual audience to an audio or listening audience more and more. So I hope everybody liked the initiative. So what I wanted to share is that this time we got an awesome turn up, Dr. Moez. We
That's
had
wonderful
quite a
to
lot of
hear.
people joining us. Yeah, quite a lot of people answering it correctly. In fact, 19 of them answered correctly. Okay, so you have to select a number. So the results are ready. I just have to shift the screen, and people would be able to see who the winner is as soon as you disclose it. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing is there is a chart that has been prepared which has the people who got it correct. So you have to select a number, Dr. Moez. You have to select a number from 2 to 19, and the number that you select might be the winner. But one thing I want to specify over here is I had specified in the rules that if you do not put your full name and completed your entry might be disqualified. So out of the 2 and 19, between the 2 and 19, there might be 2 disqualifications. If that happens, I'd request you to select another number. Let's just go right away and give Dr. Moez the honor of selecting the winner of the choice of voice contest number 3, because the speaker was Dr. Moez Kakiari. And I see a lot of people answering it on the comments over here. It is quite obvious it's Moez Kakiani's voice. And then we have Vrinda saying it's Moez, sir. And then we have Lena saying, hi, it's Moez. I wish you all had participated in the contest as well.
I wish I
Anyway,
had
so we
Mayur.
have.
I wish I had Mayur.
Didn't you? Didn't you?
This time not.
Cool. I saw you participating in previous contests.
Yes.
I saw you participating in previous contests. That was super fun. So we have everybody participating and everybody excited. So let's just go ahead and select the winner for this one. What do you say, Moez? Do you want to select a number between 2 and 19?
Oh, absolutely, यार मयूर. वहाँ पे लोगों की दिल की धड़कनें बढ़ रही होगी. So let me go with
Yup.
with a number that is lucky for some and unlucky for others. If that number is legitimate, Mayur, I would like to choose number 1 and 3. 13. Right?
Whoa. So let me
just
see
let me
what do we
inform
have in
everyone.
store for number.
I don't know these names, guys. I don't know the order in which they have been placed.
Yeah,
It
you.
is a random
does not
number that
know
I am
the
choosing.
names.
It is a random number that I am choosing.
Cool. So let's just see if the participant is going to be the winning participant, and the answer is no, because 13 they just put the phone number. I believe you could not see the names. One second, because I was very quick at it. So Moez, you'll have to select some other number because 13 is disqualified because they have not put their name or the address completely. So one more
Okay.
chance.
All right. So, Mayur, this is a legend who is once again coming back to the screen in the year 2020. All right. We're talking about 007. This is.
Okay, let me.
I'm gonna go with number
Yo.
7. I'm gonna go with number 7.
Number 7, let's just check. And the winner is Anand Ashima. Ashima Anand from Zirakpur, Punjab. Whoa, that is
Amazing.
Leena's townmate. Nice to know.
Yes,
So,
yes.
Ashima Anand is the winner. So, we'll be more than happy to send across the gift to Dr. Ashima. Awesome, awesome. Really cool.
Congratulations.
Nice.
Ashima,
So,
you
number
guessed it
7
right.
is the
I'm so
winner.
proud
I'm
of
so
you.
happy.
Ashima, you guessed it right. I'm so proud of you.
Yep. And for people who did not check it out, we release a choice of one voice contest every Wednesday, and we release a successive episode the next Sunday. So this time we have Dr. Moses' episode in which he speaks about material choices in fixed prosthodontics. So do check it out on our website, that is 32minute.com, or you can check it out on any podcasting platform of your choice. Awesome. Thank you so much, Moez, for selecting the winner.
Absolute pleasure, Mayur.
So
Thank
what's
you for
going on
having me
at
here
your
once
end?
again. Mayur, thank you for having me here once again. Oh, Diwali celebrations in full swing at MIK Dental.
Right.
The only thing we've been working towards the last few days is bringing smiles to more and more and more people. At MIK Dental, Mayur, we are offering 1 plus 1, which means you buy one product and you get one product complimentary. And that's how we
That is
wish
so awesome.
Happy Diwali to our people. Thank you for being loyals of MIK Dental. Love you all.
Right. So Dr. Moez is saying that they have a lot of discounts going on their website, that is MIK Dental. Right, Dr. Moez?
Yes, that is correct, Mayur. mikdental.in. That's where you log in. These offers are valid until 12 tonight.
Right. So what I can also do is I can share the screen of the website. I believe you can see my screen, Moez.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can, Mayur.
So
Perfect.
we have
Check that
awesome
out.
offers going on the website. Super cool.
Yes.
So the website has everything. It has prep gauges, burrs, secret tractors, and even the magic box. Super
Yes, it
awesome.
does.
Yes, it does.
Cool. Awesome, Moise. So cool to have you on the show. Um, so I'll be seeing you
Pleasure as
again
always,
once
Mayur.
once more. Right? We have a lot of
Absolutely,
things
yes.
to
Look
get
forward to
recording.
that.
Yes, look forward to that.
Yep. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Uh, Pleasure.
Did
Let
Did
me
you
tell
hear
you,
the entire
friends.
episode?
Yes, yes, I did. Yes, I did. It just looks. It just sounds so
Okay.
fantastic. I mean, I'm sure. I can hear it over and over and over again because remember, each time you hear it, you may be in a different mindset, which means there will always be a little more than you will relate to, right? And now that we're kind of rolling back in clinical dentistry, you will realize and appreciate a little more of what we've shared there, and it'll be that worthy time that we spent together, right? So that was about material
Cool.
selection, but the topic that Dr. Mayur is taking today on the gray card is something that he introduced to me. This was maybe 4 5 years back. I had never heard of it, but today has become protocol in our practice. Our images that go to the laboratory will always have not just the shade tab, but also the gray card that goes with it. All right. So thank you, Mayur, personally
Cool.
for introducing this concept to me, to the world, and I rest assured for everyone, try this. You will realize how much easier our lives can be, and how much happier our patients can be, and how much more beautiful they look. Right. So gray card is a fabulous tool that you all should give a try. All right. But this does not mean you take any gray color looking card and work. This has to be an 18% neutral gray. You will enjoy the live demonstration that follows. Thank you so much, Mayur, for the admiration, for the love, and for giving me this platform once again. Love you, brother.
Thank you for joining in. Cool. Okay then. Bye bye. Thank you so
Bye,
much.
bro.
All right. So that was Dr. Moyes who joined us live from his um place in Bandra, Mumbai. And now we're going to be entering into the actual session of how to use Grey Card. All right. So I'm going to be starting off with one more announcement. So, like Moyes, we also have a lot of discounts going on, and for the people who have registered for the dental photography school podcast launch event, there are a lot of benefits. So it does not matter if this is the last event of the podcast launch event. I would still suggest that if you want to get benefits of registering, you can head on to dentalphotographyschool.in, because you will get a lifetime access to the recording of all the event episodes. Apart from that, you will get tutorial on glamour dental photography, which is around 9 hours long, for free for your life. And you're also going to get a discount on the magic box. So 1,000 rupees discount for the people who register for the dental photography school podcast launch event. And you can also get a discount of rupees 300 on individual accessories. In the sense, if you want to buy mirrors, contrasters, or even a gray card separately, it's going to be 300 rupees less as compared to the actual cost. All right, so do check out the podcast launch event on the podcast launch registration page on my website, that is dentalphotographyschool.in. All right, so let me start off with the session. So this was the lecture that I was talking about. We interviewed Dr. Alessandro De Vegas in our 32-minute podcast. So I had a personal recording as well as a live event with him, and he emphasized a lot that proper shade communication requires your value to be correct. That's the most important thing, and in fact, 80% of your accuracy would depend upon the value. All right, so the remaining 20% is what the gray card could be helpful for. He also stressed a lot on shifting from the classic Vita shade guide to the linear shade guide. This has been elaborated a lot in Clinical Fix Prosthodontics textbook by Dr. Moez Kakiani, and Dr. Alessandro also mentioned the importance of gray card in his talk. So this is actually directly from YouTube, which I'm going to be
And there, the most
showing you.
important thing you have to check is the whiteness of the teeth. Because coming back to shades, what the human brain can do very good is compare lightness values. So that's why the latest generation of shade tabs, the 3D shade guide from Vita, they have even changed it and made a so-called linear guide out of it. This means the only thing we are looking at is the value. And based on the value, because we are better in comparing values, you select one of these value tab.
So he has emphasized a lot on a linear shade guide and the importance of gray card. So if you want to check this video out, all you need to go to is the Dental Photography School YouTube channel on YouTube, and just check this video out. What I can also do is I can probably share the link with you. So I'm just going to copy it and I'm going to put it in the comments so you can check this video out at your convenience. Oops, I forgot to add the screen sharing, so I am so sorry that you kind of missed it. I believe you can see it now, right? I'm so sorry that I didn't realize that you are not able to see my screen, which I believe you can see now. So in this particular video, he had spoken about the importance of a gray card and shade selection. This is where he speaks about
So
the
there's
linear shade guide.
a center of international, so it's
Still gonna take some time. That's awesome.
yeah, but at the end, I tell people also in my photography courses, don't look too much at the monitors and how your images look there. So the best thing or the best tool, if we go quickly into the photography part, is I check my colors on the monitor B, so LB, the lightness, A.
So do check this video
this
out,
vivid color.
and we head on to the next important thing. So the reason why we need to use a shade guard is why we need to use a gray card is because we are not really sure if the colors that our camera is going to be recording is accurate or not. All right. So what do we do? Let me give you an example. Just in today morning session, I spoke about editing our pictures, and then I opened up this particular patient's folder, which has these two pictures. So trust me, the settings of both these images are the same, completely the same. The only thing that changes out here is the light source. So the image on the left has been shot with a ring flash, and the image on the right has been shot with a twin flash. So which one do I go ahead with? How do I know which one is the real color or the accurate color of the actual tooth or the prosthesis which I can relate to? All right, so there is a way out, and that way out is with the help of a gray card. So we're going to be seeing how a gray card is going to be used. But the problem with digital systems is we cannot blindly accept that the colors that we get on the camera are accurate colors whatsoever. So one of the examples is right in front of you. Even if you change the light source, the colors are going to change. In fact, even if you add one more layer of diffuser in front of your ring flash or a twin flash, it becomes more warm. So there are a lot of reasons why colors could change. But if you want consistency, I would request you not to play around a lot with your settings. So there are two settings in your camera that are going to control the colors in your images. One of them is called as white balance, and the other one is called as picture style or picture control, depending upon if you're a Canon user or a Nikon user. All right. So usually I like to set my white balance on daylight, because I've realized that when I shoot on a white balance of flash, which a lot of dentists like to use. It looks way more yellow than it is actually visually seen. So I like to use a white balance of daylight. You can use whatever white balance that you personally prefer, but before sending it to the lab, just do a color correction. Why do we need a color correction? Because again, like I said, we cannot be sure if the images that are reproduced by our camera are accurate or not. So if the images are not accurate with the colors, that means it has a color cast. So what do you mean by a color cast? It basically, it's like in layman's terms, when you want to upload a picture on Instagram, and if you add a filter on it, that is basically nothing but a type of a color cast. So it looks different from normal. All right. So we do not want any color cast because we are not beautifying our pictures and sending it to the lab. We want to send what is really accurate. All right. So that is why we have to remove the color cast. And in layman's terms, if there is a filter, we have to remove that particular filter. Okay. So before I go into the gray card, I would probably want to brush up a little bit of basics out here by showing this particular slide. Now I'm changing the topic completely because I'm starting right from the top. This is for people who are not aware of the digital visual system, but any software or any digital system records colors in the RGB color gamut. All right. So all the colors that you're seeing right now, be it your phone or your laptop, is a combination of three colors, that is red, green and blue. Excuse me. So basically, if your R is 0, G is 0 and B is a 0, what actually happens is you get a black color like how you're seeing on the screen. However, if your R is 255, G is 255 and your B is also 255, then the resultant color is white. So all the colors that you see on your digital system right now, be it your phone or your laptop or your PC, is basically made up of three colors only. That's red, green and blue. All right. And all the other colors are a combination of these two. But when R, G and B is 0, it is black. When R, G and B is 255 or sometimes even 256, some softwares have 256, RGB is 255 or 256, the resultant color is white. All right. So this was the basics that I wanted to speak about. Now let me move on directly to the demonstration. So what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be going to my editing software and I'm going to be proving this RGB theory. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be opening this particular image on my editing software. So once again, like in the morning, I am using Adobe Bridge and I wanted to show you the RGB values in reality. So you can see the RGB values on the top right hand side. What I'll do is I'll just make my screen full screen so you can hopefully see it better. I want you to focus on the top right hand side of the screen where I am moving my cursor. All right, so you can see RGB values written over here. So whenever I move my pointer on any particular color, it's going to give out the RGB values of that particular color. So let's just see if this image holds true with respect to what I showed you in my presentation. So let me go ahead and select the black color first. All right, so you can see RGB value of 0, 0 and 0. Look at the top right hand side, you will be able to see R, G and B written in small alphabets next to the vertical bars. So you can see RGB is 0, 0, 0. That's because the resultant color is black. Now let me see the RGB values of white. As you can see, R, G and B are 255, 255 and 255. I don't have to click or anything. I just have to hover my cursor on that particular color and my software is going to give me the RGB values of that particular color. All right. So once again, white is 255, 255 and 255 for RGB and black is 255, 000 for RG and B. So let us see what it is for red. It's around R204, obviously because R is maximum. G and B is 39 and 22 for this particular red that I had selected. And in this one, you can see in the green color, R is 143, G is 216, and B is 75. This is for people who cannot read, maybe if my resolution is less. And if when I put my pointer in blue color, you can see my R is 90, G is 160, and B is 252. So basically what I wanted to show you is everything in the digital system has a fixed value. All right. So every color that you see on your screen must be having a fixed RGB value. All right. So a question to the audience, if you can answer this: what is considered as a standard color of comparison or a standard color in photography? Can anybody answer that? If you can, if you know the answer, just put it in the chat so I can understand that you are with me. For the people who are not aware of this, the standard color in photography is considered as gray, and it's a neutral gray color. So usually we select 18% gray as the neutral color in photography. So whenever we want to compare two images or two colors, we keep something standard, and that standard is the 18% neutral gray. So when you want that in a printed format, it is called as the 18% neutral gray card. All right, so that is something that is also available inside our Magic Box. So what I'm going to be showing you next is how you are going to be using this gray card. So if you do not know how to use it, please watch this clearly. So I see a lot of people are answering about the gray color, and yes, you are right. All right, so let me go ahead and share my screen once again. All right, so I believe you can see my screen. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to take a picture of shade selection with the help of a gray card. In our previous session, Dr. Alessandro had also explained the significance of keeping the shade tab in the plane of our tooth. So there is a technique of keeping the shade tab as well. Whenever you keep the shade tab, make sure that it is in the same plane of our tooth. All right. So this is how we keep it. But now my dilemma is before I send this to the lab, I want to be 100% sure that my image should be should have recorded the colors correctly. All right. So there are a lot of places where we could go wrong with respect to shade communication with our labs. So what are the ways, or what are the steps, or what are the places where we could go wrong? Number one, if a camera has recorded the wrong color, obviously the origin image itself is wrong, which happens quite frequently when we use our phones, because phones are not really good at color reproduction. So this is the beginning of the dilemma. So if you have a camera that does not record the colors accurately, that's the beginning of the circle of bad things, or the cycle of evil events in inaccurate shade selection. So make sure that your camera records color accurately. For that, I would suggest that you use a DSLR and a ring flash or a twin flash. The second thing is color correction. Before sending it to the lab, have you used a gray card and done the color cast removal with the help of a gray card? If you haven't, you have to start doing that. The third thing is your monitor has to be color corrected. So how do you color correct your monitor? It is with the help of something called as a Spider. So I use a Spider 5 that calibrates my monitor and makes the colors accurate on the monitor. But I use a MacBook Pro, which is well known for great color accuracy. But still, if you want to be damn sure that your monitor is showing you accurate colors, you have to calibrate your screen. So now we are all clear from our end, and now it's up to the lab. So where could the lab go wrong? Number one, when you're sending the image to the lab via WhatsApp, it's a very big mistake, because there is a high chance that your image could get compressed and it could change or alter the colors in some particular way. So make sure that you do not send WhatsApp images to your lab. Just stop doing that. It's always better to send an email, all right, and send it to your lab. Great. So the next thing is when the lab opens the image, even their monitor has to be color calibrated. It's obviously not going to be delivering you good results if they are looking at the pictures on their phone on WhatsApp. All right. So even they have to open their images on a laptop or a PC which has a screen which has correctly colored color corrected monitors. So even they have to color correct with the same technique that you have used. What you can do is you can use your spider file to calibrate your screen. Maybe you can share that same spider 5 with the lab. It's spider 5 is a hardware that you can plug into your laptop, calibrate your screen, and then give it to your lab so that even they can calibrate the screen similarly. So once the screen is calibrated, what you are seeing on your screen would be pretty similar to what they are seeing on their screen. So once they have and both of us have calibrated our screens correctly, we can expect better and better results. So you obviously need to find a lab who is ready to do all this, because if you do gray card techniques, you should obviously you also deserve the benefits of it. So make sure that you communicate with the right lab. But obviously, at least from these entire series of events that could possibly go wrong, we're actually with the help of gray card, we are actually removing the errors that could have happened at our end. So immaterial if whatever lab does or does not do, at least from our end we are ensuring that the colors that we are sending, the images that we are sending to the lab, they have the accurate colors. That is why we are doing the gray card corrections. So let me go ahead and show you how it's done. So I have a raw file which has been selected into my screen right now. You can see it on the bottom side. It's image number 3841.cr2. That's because I am a Canon user and my raw files are .cr2 files. All right. Now I'm going to a tool called as a white balance tool that you can see on the top left hand side at around 11 o'clock position. I put my pointer over there and it is called the white balance tool. All right. So what does the white balance tool do? Let me speak about that first. So basically, when you select the white balance tool, if you would have noticed that the mouse pointer turns from an arrow to a dropper. All right, let me show that to you once again. Just focus on that. As soon as I put my pointer on the white balance tool, my mouse pointer will become into a dropper when I select it. So right now it's an arrow, but when I select it, it's going to turn into a dropper. Are you able to see that? Great. I hope you could see that. So what the software is telling us is to show where is the 18% neutral gray color. Like I said before, in the field of photography, gray is considered as a neutral color. So all the colors in a particular image are compared with respect to the 18% neutral gray color. All right. Like we saw that white was 255, 255 when it comes to RGB, and black was 000 when it comes to RGB. Similarly, the 18% neutral gray card also has fixed RGB values. Let us just say arbitrarily that the value is 118, 118, 118. So let's just say that you imagine an ideal 18% gray card, and let's just say that its ideal values are R118, G118 and B118. All right. So if my image was accurate with color reproduction, and if I put my pointer on the gray card, it should read RGB 118, 118, 118. All right, if my color reproduction was accurate, just for the sake of it. It could be maybe for the software RGB values for a gray card is 121, 121, 121. It could differ with different softwares. But if my camera did not record an accurate color, maybe it did not record the accurate color, that means my image had a color cast. In that particular case, my values of the gray card in RGB format would be completely way off target. Let's say maybe it is 140, 150 and 160 of RGB values. That means it is different from what it is supposed to be. Let's just say the standard was 120, 120, 120, but we got RGB as 140, 160, and 150. All right. So that means in the R region, I have a shift of 20 in the R region, and in G it was maybe the ideal was supposed to be 120, but G was 160 in my example. So that means there's a difference of 40 over here, which is huge. And B ideal maybe would have been 120, but in the picture that we took, the B was 150. That means a shift of 30, right? So actually, if you see, there's a total shift of 30, 40, 70, and 20, that is around 90. That shift of 90 is a huge shift. Okay. This is just an example. I'm just giving you a random example. I'm just trying to tell you that that the gray card that you took in your picture, if it has shifted colors, the RGB values might differ from what the standard values were supposed to be. And when you select the white balance tool, it is basically asking you, take me to your gray card. So basically, when you select the white balance tool, your arrow turns into a dropper, and you have to go to the place in your image which has a gray card. What happens next is that when you click on any part of the gray card, it is going to calculate the RGB values at that particular point, obviously, but not only that, it is going to compare with the ideal standard values. So maybe the ideal standard values is 120, 120, 120 of RG and B, but the actual values in your image was 140, 160, and 150, right? So there was a shift of 90 in our example. So what it's going to do is, not only is it going to check the RGB values in the point that you selected, but it is also going to apply that difference onto the entire image. So it is going to convert that difference of 90 to a difference of 0. That means it's going to give the gray card back to its ideal values, but it is not only going to apply this particular change in that particular point that you selected, it's going to apply the change to the entire image, thereby removing any color cast in the process. In the sense, if there was a color cast like a blue color cast, it could be a red color cast, green color cast, or a yellow color cast. It's going to remove that color cast, and it's going to give an ultimate image without any color cast. All right, so let us see how to do that in the live demonstrations. I'm just going to go back to my software, and I'm going to select the gray card, the white balance tool once again. So you can see that my arrow mark is not an arrow mark anymore. The only thing that I have to do right now is go to my gray card, which is over here, and select any particular point on the gray card which seems to be normal. What do I mean by which seems to be normal is there should be no scratches on the gray card, there should be no loss of color of the gray card, and the gray card also should not have heavy reflections of the flash, and it should also not have any shadows. So make sure when you record your picture with a gray card, it does not have shadows, reflections, scratches, or any other form of deformity on the gray card. So that's one more reason why you should never autoclave your gray cards, because they are the type of material of a credit card. So let me just go to the gray card. So what is going to happen now is, when I do a click on the gray card, it is going to record, which it has already recorded. You can see the RGB values are not normal. If you are not able to see the RGB values, let me read it out for you. On the top right hand side, it reads R is 136, G is 149, and B is 173. That means definitely the image is way off target from what it was supposed to be. So what is the next thing that I do is, I just click on a part of a gray card which I think is perfectly normal, and if there is a color cast, it's going to recalibrate my entire image and give me the real colors. So on the count of 3, I'm going to click on the gray card, and if there is a shift in color, that means my camera did not record the colors accurately. There was a color cast. So let us see what happens, and in the count of 3. So I think I'm going to be clicking over here. So 1, 2, and 3. Yep, you can see that my color has changed quite a bit, and if you can also see the RGB values over here for this particular software that I am using, it's Adobe. its standard value that Adobe feels right is 148, 148, 148. So what it did was it removed, it not only made the entire gray card 148, 148, 148, but the entire color of the entire image has changed, and this is what the color was supposed to be at the first place. That is a huge shift from the color that I had recorded. So in my personal experience, I have noticed oops, you could not see the screen again. I'm so sorry, so sorry once again. All right, okay, let me go back to Camera Raw defaults like I showed it to you in the morning. Okay, so let me go through it all over once again. All right, you are able to see the screen now. So what I'm going to do is record. I'm just going to select the white balance tool once again, and you can see that my pointer has turned into a dropper. All I have to do now is take it on the gray card. All right. Right now I'm just randomly taking it to different places, and you can see that it's recording the RGB values at wherever point I'm taking. So you can see I've taken it in a pure white region, and on the top right hand side you can see the RGB values are 255, 255 and 255. So wherever I move, it is recording the RGB values live. Alright, so let me take it on the gray card. So you can see my gray card value right now is R143, G146 and B167. That means it is quite a random flow of colors. That's the RGB values. And I have possibly selected one of the best parts of my gray card. So you can see the gray card has to be on the plane of the tooth that we are trying to be selecting or communicating the color for. My shade tab is also on the plane of my tooth. It has to be aligned properly. Now the only thing that I'm left to do is click on the gray card. So when I do a click on the gray card, what my white balance tool is going to do is it's going to calibrate the RGB values over there, and not only that, it's going to remove any color cast. So if I do a click and the colors change, that means my camera had not recorded the accurate colors. And after the click, whatever color that I get in the particular image, in this particular image, are the real colors that I need to send it to the lab. Alright, so let me go ahead and click on the count of 3. That is 1, 2 and 3. So you can see there was a notable change in my gray card values. Alright, so you can see over here that my ideal gray card value in the software is in the range of 147, 147, 147. So my software over here thinks that this gray card ideal values are in the range of 147, 147, 147 for RGB. Now this is the accurate color that I need to send it to the lab. That means this is the image without the color cast, which I should have recorded at the first place, but my camera couldn't record it. This is the color corrected image that I need to send it to the lab. That means initially my image had a blue color cast slightly, and now it is the accurate color. So you need to be cautious that you always have to select the 18% neutral gray color, and you can see on the top right hand side that it has calibrated correctly to the range of 147, 147, 147, or whatever the software thinks that's accurate. Maybe it could be 148, 148, 148. This feature is there on all the post-processing softwares, namely Canon Digital Photo Professional as well as Nikon's Capture NXD, but I like to use Adobe Camera Raw. So you can see on the screen I am using a RAW file, so you always have to do the color correction on a RAW file and not a JPEG file. This is also one of the reasons why you should probably make it a habit to shoot pictures on RAW image quality and not JPEG image quality. I shoot all my pictures on RAW plus JPEG. So as you saw in the morning session, every image, say this particular image 3841, has a .cr2 copy as well as a .jpg copy as well. Alright, so this is how we do color corrections. When we are done with the color correction, we can go ahead and we can say this is the color corrected image. that I have, and I'm going to be exporting it out on my desktop. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly make a collage uh, of both the pictures that we just saw. I'm just going to go to Camera Raw defaults, and this was the actual image that we had, but I'm exporting it as a JPEG format image. And I'm going to quickly make a collage by going to Photoscape and then combine option, and then I just drag and drop both the pictures and show you the difference on a big screen. So I'm just going to export it quickly, and I'm going to keep both the images side by side so you can see the difference between both the pictures. Yep. So let me just enlarge it for you. That's how it looks. So the left hand side was the image with a color cast, so you can see my camera and the flash and the lens totally makes an image which gives me a blue color cast. So the image on the right hand side is the color corrected image, which is the image that I need to send it to the lab. All right. Okay, now I'm just going to speak about a little bit of my personal experience. Okay, so I have personally noted that twin flash is way more accurate when it comes to color communication with your lab. I can actually show it to you if that is possible. Let me just check if I can do that. So what I can do is I can select the pictures that we had chosen in the morning, and I can select the 5-star pictures which has the selected images, which has a ring flash image and the twin flash image as well, right? So you can see that this particular image was shot with a ring flash. However, there is one more image with a twin flash out here. So let me just do a comparison and see which image shows a drastic change when it comes to color correction. So the image on top, I hope you can see my screen now. Yeah. So the image on top is the image with a ring flash, and the image in the bottom is the image with a twin flash. Let me select. Oh, but the problem is I don't have gray cards over here because this is actually not a picture that was meant for shade communication. Never mind. Let me just use white color over here. I'm going to try and see if this works. So if you don't have a gray card, you can actually try and select a pure white region in your image and try this as well, but it's obviously not going to be as perfect. But you can see that the shift in the colors is quite less when it comes to the twin flash image. Let me just show it to you once again. What I did, I selected the white balance tool. Since there's no gray card in this picture, I move on to the second standard image. Ideally it has to be pure white, but I'm selecting the reflection area and I'm trying to see the RGB values out there. I'm going to select an RGB value which is closest to 255 for all the three colors. So I think this area is pretty fine. Although this is not an accurate technique, but I'm going to be hitting on this white color and you'll be able to see a radical shift in the color now. So it is quite yellow now. Now I move on to the twin flash image. I select the white balance tool once again and I go to the white color. I go to my RGB values on the top right hand side. I'm pretty close to 255, 255, 255. It's around 252, 251, 251, which is pretty close. I'm just going to hit on this. You can see there's a very slight color change when I use a twin flash as compared to when I use a ring flash. But obviously I personally believe in using a gray card. This is not a valid technique of color correction, but all I wanted to say that if there is a lesser shift of color, that means your camera could handle the colors quite better than a radical shift that took place in the situation where I actually showed you the one with the gray card. So if there's a radical change, that means your camera or the lens or the flash is not recording the color accurately. You need to double check on your settings. But if there is a very small color change or small color shift, that means the colors were quite accurate at the first place. Now, coming to the final question, do you need to do this in all the images? So the answer to that is no, I don't do it in all the particular images. In fact, I do not use this at all for my posterior shade communications. I just use it for my anterior shade communications. And in my personal opinion, no matter how hard I have tried, the lab always has a mistake, because I think the lab that I sent to, they might not have color calibrated monitors. But nevertheless, I'm trying my best to remove a color cast and send an image to them. Now, the accuracy depends upon the skill of that particular technician, the monitor calibration, and a lot of other things which are pretty subjective. So, bottom line is, use gray card for at least the anterior aesthetic shade communications. Posteriors, if you want to use it, you use it, but I don't prefer to use it. I do not stress a lot on posterior tooth gray card techniques. Anterior is fine from first premolar to first premolar. I always make it a point to use it. And the next thing that I do is convert it into a JPEG file or a PNG file and email it to the lab, so that reduces the chances of errors that we can have in the process of shade communication. All right, so that's all we have time for in this particular session of a gray card gray card technique. So this, I hope you understood why we are using a gray card. It is basically to remove any color cast that is going to happen in the process of shade selection and communication. So 18% neutral gray cards are the best. You should not autoclave them. It is a great tool to have. It is a part of the Magic Box. If you want to buy it, what you can do is, you can also head on to my website, that's dentalphotographyschool.in, where you can go ahead and buy a gray card. And if you have registered for the podcast launch event, you also get a discount on your purchase. So what I'm going to be doing now is, I'm going to be taking up questions. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. All right, so we have a question from Subhash. He's saying, can be done with Photoscape software. So the answer to that is, very honestly, Photoscape is not a really professional software for editing pictures, especially raw pictures. So can Photoscape edit raw pictures? Yes, it can, but it's not really that accurate when it comes to editing raw pictures. So I would not do my color correction on Photoscape. Like I suggested, you can always download a free software from Canon or the Nikon website. It's for free, and you can download it at your convenience and use it. So both of them have, Canon and Nikon, both of them have this particular tool. So just go ahead and download that. So we have Danny Obando Solano, who has joined us from Costa Rica. Hi, friend. So Danny is a great dental photographer as well. He is the proud he's one of the proud winners of the dental photography contest. So we do a dental photography contest every year, and the winners, the top 13 images, that's the top 13 pictures, do get selected and they get printed on the dental photography calendar. So Danny has been participating quite regularly, and he has won a lot. So we have another question from Adrian Horn. Is it true that only labs monitor need to be color corrected? Even my screen is bad in color. I can correct my photo with gray card plus RGB value plus software. Yes. So the answer to that, so as far as I understood your question, what actually happens is, having a calibrated monitor is your personal choice. As such, even if your monitor is not color calibrated, so the entire algorithm of color correction does not depend upon your monitor. I am suggesting you a color corrected monitor so that you can actually see the colors accurately, but it does not have a part in the color correction process as such. All right, because that process is a function of your software and not your monitor. So if your monitor is so if you're asking me if your monitor is actually color corrected or not, it does not make any difference whatsoever, in my personal opinion, because the algorithm is still up to the software. So the color correction is going to be happening as a function of the software, and a color corrected monitor is not required. Why I suggested that is because you also need to see, right, if your colors are if you want a visual, what do we say, if you want a visual reinforcement that you are seeing accurate colors, I think color correction is a must. And I love to work on color corrected monitors. And why do we want a color cast on our monitors anyways? So you must have seen that a lot of phones, so if I put a picture on WhatsApp group, it is going to be looking different in different phones. That means every monitor is different. That means everybody is going to judge that particular image differently. Why do we want to have a biased opinion? If we do not want to have a biased opinion, we want a color corrected monitor. So that's the reason why I suggest a color corrected monitor. But like what you're asking, Adrian, the color correction process does not have a role to play in the with the color corrected monitor or not. It's going to happen anyways. And if you send that picture also to the lab, it's completely fine if the lab's monitor itself is color corrected. It is not up to us. It is not binding on us to have a color corrected monitor, because ultimately it's them who's making the prosthesis, and not me. I hope that answers your question, and I hope that is what you are asking, Adrian. And now I'm moving on to the next question by Abhijit. Do you recommend the use of a right light with the gray card? So very honestly, right light is for people who are doing mobile dental photography, because it is a continuous source of light. So continuous source of light like LEDs have a say when it comes to mobile dental photography only. But as far as I know, it is not an important thing to have if you are using a DSLR and a flash. But yes, if you are using mobile phone dental photography, it could help. But it's not important for me, because I have never used a mobile phone, nor do I plan to use a mobile phone in future. That's because accurate colors are going to get recorded with a flash. Most of the flash that you get in the market are color corrected at 5500, but still they give different results, because ring flash is an upfront source of light, so it gives you a different result. Twin flash, when it comes from the side, so even the angle of the light is going to be changing your colors. So you need to keep that in mind. So that's why twin flash is very accurate, because the light comes from the side. So my suggestion once again is, if you want to have accurate colors in your pictures, you need to have a twin flash. Again, I want to reinforce at this particular point of time that I do it only for anterior aesthetic cases. I don't do it at all for posterior cases whatsoever. All right. So I hope, Abhijit, that answers your question. I guess there are no more questions. I am so glad to have your company. And I am so proud that I could launch the world's first podcast on dental photography and clinical photography. So this is not only a podcast for dentists, even the dermatologists, ophthalmologists, and other clinicians can learn a lot, because our concepts remain the same. So that is all I had with respect to the launch event of the Dental Photography School podcast. I'm going to be releasing one podcast every Saturday morning with respect to documentation and clinical photography. I'm also be going to do a lot of general photography talks. I'm going to be inviting a lot of guests onto my show on my podcast. So if you are someone who does great photography, do connect with me so that I can invite you for an interview on my podcast. It'll be great to connect with you and share your tips with the world. All right. It does not matter if you are more interested in general photography or any other form of photography. For that sake, I am completely open to call any guest who is great at photography, because it is really important to do general photography along with clinical photography to keep that passion of clinical photography alive. All right. So that is all we had time for today. Thank you so much for joining in, and do subscribe to the 32-minute podcast and the Dental Photography School podcast. It has been an absolute honor for me to have your company for both my podcast launch events. I am so happy and so glad, and I'm so grateful for your support always. Until the next time I see you, that's goodbye from me, and it was really cool to have your company. All right, so thank you so much. Last question by Abhijit. Using right light without a gray card and finalizing color chair side. That is a good question. Yes, visually, if you want to use right light without a gray card, it's always a better option. But there's also one more algorithm that could influence your choice. Whenever you're using, whenever you are using a continuous light source, I would personally not make a finalized color choice at that particular time. Why? Because ambient light also plays a vital role in influencing what I am seeing. So although I agree that the right light might be great, that's because the manufacturers are saying it. But I would still not let the ambient lighting of my clinic affect my system. So still, the ideal way would be to achieve complete darkness, maybe, and then maybe try to guess the color. But again, the intensity is going to be the problem out here. So ideally, if you want to do a real world comparison, just choose natural light and do your shade selection instead of any sort of right light and stuff like that. That might be more accurate. But like Dr. Alessandro said, you cannot keep on looking at your tooth quite continuously. So it's always better to record the color with the help of a camera and then do a color correction. Maybe that would be a better way to not only judge the colors accurately but also to communicate accurately. Any which ways, gray card is not going to be helpful in this particular situation because you are not recording a particular image. So a gray card is not going to be helpful for an on-spot decision if that is what you are asking, Abhijit. Gray card is useful only if you want to color correct a particular image that you have shot using your DSLR or your mobile phone. So it also works on mobile phones as well, but you will see a radical shift of color in that particular case. So I hope that answers your question, Abhijit. If you are doing an on-spot decision, gray card is of no value whatsoever in that particular situation. All right. So I hope that answers everybody's questions. I am really happy and delighted to have your company once again. Thank you so much for joining in. If you have any questions, you can write to me on podcast at 32minute.com, or you can always go to the FAQ section on my website, that's dentalphotographyschool.in, and you can check out all the questions that have been asked by the followers, and you can learn a lot from the questions themselves. If you want to know more about the camera settings, the equipment and stuff, you can go to my YouTube channel, that's Dental Photography School, and check out the videos over there. That's all I have in store for you for the Dental Photography School podcast launch event. It's been an absolute honor to have your company. Thank you so much for joining in, and stay tuned for my podcast episodes that are going to be launched every Saturday and every Sunday. That is a bit of good news that I wanted to share as well. I wanted to share this particular news with you. The 32-minute podcast is ranking number 11 in India. That is huge in the health and fitness category. So I want to thank all of you all for giving me so much support and always being great with your support, always been out there and supporting me. And you can also see that it is ranked number 30 in Romania, and in the all podcast category, the 32-minute podcast is rank 184. So actually, you're looking at thousands of podcasts over here, and out of the thousands of podcasts, the 32-minute is at 148th rank, and in health and fitness category is the 11th rank, which is a huge achievement for any new podcast. And the Dental Photography School podcast is rank 50 in the education section of the podcast, and it is climbing very fast. This could not have happened without your support. So thank you so much for all your support, and keep your support coming in. Do keep on listening to the podcast and sharing it with your friends, so the learning process never stops. Once again, thank you so much to all the people who joined us for the podcast launch event. If you want to get the benefit of discounts on the Grey Card or the Magic Box. That's the complete kit of interval accessories. You can still register for the podcast launch event till midnight today and avail the benefit of the discounts. Thank you so much once again, and it was a pleasure and honor to have your company. And goodbye.